With us today is the Antero Wind Quintet. They were with us yesterday for All Valley, and this is, I think, they're at least 30. I know it's at least 3 years you guys have been coming to the Salt. So I didn't get to hear music of this caliber until I went to college, and you guys get to hear it on a pretty regular basis, at least once a year. This year, I think this is the third group we've had come in. I'm pretty sure this year we had a brass and another woodwind quintet earlier in the year. Good morning, guys.
Hello.
My name's Kobus. I play the flute. I've been playing flute for about 14 years at this point, or 16 years at this point. I'm originally from South Africa, for those of you who have not encountered us yet. And then I moved to Colorado in 2007, and then recently relocated to Massachusetts, the other side of the country. Yeah, so we'll just go around and quickly introduce ourselves, and we'll talk a little bit about things to notice in our playing and things like that.
Hey, I'm Sarah, playing the oboe. So one thing you might notice about my playing is that when I get out of breath, the first thing I need to do when I'm done playing a phrase is exhale. That's because the opening in my reed is so tiny that I never fully get rid of all of my air. I end up with a lot of carbon dioxide in my lungs that I have to exhale out before I can inhale. So if I start gasping, that's why, because I have to do twice the amount of work in the same amount of breath.
I'm Kari from Japan. So today's program has a lot of business fingering kind of stuff. So look at my fingers.
Well, show them your thumb thing real quick.
Oh, do you guys remember how many keys in a bassoon? Yeah, alright, can you guess? And my left thumb. Can you guess?
How many keys just for her thumb?
7.
Okay. 3, 7.
1, 12.
Actually, that's close.
Darn it.
Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 keys. But it's supposed to be one more key in here too, so like it could be 11. So, who guess?
If you're good at Xbox, you'll be great at the singing.
Alright, my name is Megan, I play the horn, and what's interesting to me, the brass player in a woodwind quintet, is that I have to actually mimic the woodwinds. So I play in brass quintets and woodwind quintets, and brass quintets, where are my brass players at? Yeah, that's right. We're like the powerhouse, right? We're like the loud, like in-your-face playing. But when I play with these guys, like everything I do is like pianissimo and piano. So it's a very interesting to try to mimic the sounds of woodwind. So you guys can listen for how I'm trying to do that with a brass instrument.
I'm Brian, I'm from Illinois. I play the clarinet. Yes. The best instrument.
Agree.
So I have a question for you. What makes the flute different than all these other instruments? Yes.
It's not a reed instrument.
Great. Yes, it's not a reed instrument. Okay.
It's a very high pitch.
Sure. So if you say it's not a reed instrument, like think about that a little bit more. Yeah.
Instead of blowing into your instrument, you blow.
Ah, yes. So you're all referring to kind of the same thing. I'm the only instrument in this group that has no resistance when I create sound. So if you think of a violin, right? There's a bow that runs across a string that creates resistance and vibration. Brian has a single reed that he sort of like, I don't know, you bite on it? How would you describe that?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, but the reed vibrates, right? So there's resistance. The same with the double reeds, the same with brass. There's a mouthpiece that you put your buzz into, right? With flute, there's nothing I stick in my mouth or put on my mouth. It's just purely the airstream that creates the sound. So what makes the flute kind of special. And it also makes the flute sound very different. All right. Do you want to talk about a little about what we're going to do next? Seeing that it's your sort of moment.
Well, I was hoping that we might not introduce it that way. Yeah, it's well, Sarah, you want to talk about Sobek, and then I'll talk about the movement.
Yeah, so Sobek wrote for the woodwind quintet. He wrote a bunch of these pieces for this instrument. This particular quintet is 4 movements long, so we're just going to do the 4th movement for you. And he wrote in probably my favorite style period of them all. We talk about classical music is a really big overarching term that can apply to stuff that was written in the 1600s or all the way up to yesterday. It's considered classical music for today, or today, yeah, or tomorrow. But the Romantic era is where we get, you know, Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff and Brahms and a lot of the really great composers.
Who's heard of Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, and Brahms? Good
Sort of
job,
the Nutcracker.
Mr. Lenio.
Yeah.
So this is not that's very near and dear to my heart. There aren't a lot of woodwind quintets written from that time period, so this is one that's in that style. Makes it kind of fun.
Cool. And the movement that we'll be doing is called a tarantella. It is an Italian, it's a traditional Italian dance. I think it's Sicilian actually, or Southern Italian at least. Tarantella is a cognate of a familiar arachnid.
Spider.
Huh?
Spider.
Yeah,
Which one?
Spider.
Tarantula.
So the story goes is that if you were bitten by a tarantula, if you moved yourself fast enough, you would be able to get the venom out of your body quicker. Which is probably
Just die quicker, yeah.
yeah, it probably gets you to your heart faster. So.
Yeah, but it's a fun ending.
But if you've ever seen whirling dervishes from Turkey, have you guys ever heard of those people before? They're like Christian mystics that twirl themselves for hours on end and kind of put themselves in a trance. That was kind of the idea behind this dance too. So it's a lot of notes for me. I don't know if it's how it is for the rest of you guys. So it is kind of a showpiece for clarinet. But the other three movements I think are equally distributed. But I'm hoping that when we announce this piece for the rest of the day, we just kind of
We like to put as much pressure on Brian as we can, always.
Yeah, Ryan.
Bye.